Howdy guys, it's Don't Drone Me Bro, and I'm here to showcase my, new to me, I say new to me, I've had it for a couple months at this point, Cimarron Single Action Army. This is their pre-war model, pre-war being pre-Second World War, probably First World War in the way it's designed. So it's a 7.5-inch cavalry length. It has the cross bolt uh, cylinder base pin retention pin, and it's got the early 1900s style itty bitty tiny notch in front sight. I mean, it is really hard to see. But aside from that, pretty much just your run of the mill clone. I bought it used. I wanted a big bore revolver for my 30th birthday, just because I've always wanted one. I grew up watching westerns and both John Wayne and Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, so it was kind of between this and, well, non-westerny, but I guess maybe modern western. The Model 29 Smith & Wesson, a 4 or 6 inch or 6.5 inch, or if I got really desperate, 8 and 3/8 inch. But they're a little pricey, and so are Colt single actions, not the clones. But I found a good deal on this, and I was like, well, I guess I'm getting my single action. And as you can imagine, it's already been safety checked and it's unloaded. But I bought this gun with pretty much knowing as soon as I got it, I was going to have to reload for it, because 45 Colt ammunition, which this is chambered in, as 45 Colt, is really, really expensive these days, which is a shame because it's a fun cartridge to shoot. But getting into reloading seriously, because I had previously reloaded 308, and that was just something I just didn't have time for, and I didn't have the space or all the equipment. So I bought a hand press for this, and I'll do a separate video on that. But I've been rolling my own recently. So these are actually, let's see if the camera will focus, uh, just the Hornady lead, 230 grain, which actually I've got over here. Hornady Frontier lead. I kind of injured my wrist, so bear with me here. Hornady Frontier lead, 230 grain, 200. It's a hefty box, but this gun has been phenomenal. The first rounds I reloaded were jacketed, also 230 grain, because in my area finding the 255s or 250s is really hard. So I just kind of worked with it. Oh, additionally, this has a second cylinder for 45 auto. And I initially didn't want to shoot with that, but until I got up into fully hand loading, I had to shoot a little bit of that just because I couldn't afford to keep buying 45 Colt ammo. But it was really accurate with the 45 auto, so it kind of gave me hope for this. And so far, I haven't been disappointed. I'm just a novice, and my first loads were this bullet and the FMJ with universal powder from Hodgkin. And pretty well, I'd say my velocity, I think it was around 650 feet per second. So definitely not a barn burner. It was a nice plinking load, but it gave me a lot of fouling, a lot of unburnt powder. So I switched over to tight group, and my velocity's up almost, I'd say, probably identical to 45 ACP out of this gun. And so about 850 or so, maybe a little bit more, just because of the longer barrel. And wow, it's just been a tack driver. I absolutely love it. Additionally, because I lost the front sight early on, and by lost I mean it flew off. Luckily I recovered it. I had to send it off to single action service, which is, I didn't buy this gun from collectors, by the way, because they are way too expensive. I sent off to single action service, Mr. Al Harton. Phenomenal work. So he reattached my front sight, reblued the barrel, He hardened the internal parts because these Italian clones have kind of soft parts on the inside. But aside from that, just that was an expenditure which I didn't really want to deal with, but hey, I did it, and I'm glad because this gun is awesome to shoot. I highly recommend everyone have, if you can't buy a real Colt, which one day I hope to buy, definitely get one of these clones. They are really cheap. I mean, you can get the Uberti Cattleman starting around like 350, 400. Even the Cimarrons, which are a nicer version, they're around 450 to 500, and I think they're well worth the price. Even if you have to get it sent off to be hardened, I think the newer ones probably don't have that issue. But this gun is, it was one of the earlier imports. So, in any case, that's all I have to say about this 7.5-inch cavalry model Uberti. Thanks and gig 'em.